You're listening to the Best Company Show, Southern California's business podcast, focusing on topics of interest to CEOs and managers of middle market companies, with your host, Robert J. Curtis.
And welcome again to the Best Company Show. This is Robert J. Curtis, your host, and I have with me a special guest today, Ronald Stein from PTS Staffing. He's welcome. He's basically, well, I'm going to let you tell us, Ron, in your own words. But basically, Ron is a leader in a very special niche. PTS Staffing places employees, places mostly engineers and technical people in petroleum industry and other manufacturing kind of processes, but very specialized people. And you have, what, about 300 boots on the ground out there?
300 right now, yes.
Yeah, and it's been growing over the years. You've been around for many years.
Since 95.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about the origins of PTS, and then tell us about what makes it great. What do you guys do that's special?
PTS Staffing Solutions does staff augmentation to engineering and construction type companies. It's interesting, engineering and construction companies are very similar in that they're always working themselves out of a job. Once you've designed a bridge, you need another bridge to design. And so those industries tend to have lean and mean organizations, and when they get projects awarded, they need people to execute them. That's where we come in. We're basically partners and do staff augmentation to their core staff so they can complete the projects ahead of schedule and under budget. When we started PTS in 95, fortunately I had a lot of experience in that industry, working with several engineering companies, international engineering companies in the energy sector. And starting PTS, it was really beneficial knowing the industry, knowing the people, and being able to walk the talk and talk the walk. And so that's what really got us the relationships to get us started. And we know the industry, we know the people they need, and we can basically filter it out and provide those people.
Great. Okay, so can I help you out a little bit here? Tell me, how many of the major refineries, major oil petroleum companies are you in with?
In California, we staff all 12 refineries that are in California.
Okay. Basically, you got a monopoly.
We have a major share.
Okay. So you're very well represented.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. And you've been doing this for 20 or 30 years.
Since 95.
Okay. And you're the kind of people you're placing and putting in there. Can you give me an idea who they are, what they do?
They're technical people, engineers, designers, project managers, schedulers, planners. There's a lot of facets of this industry. It's very challenging, and those are the type of people. But we're dealing with different types of people. We deal with the people we place, and internally we need to staff our own organization with our core staff, our PTS core staff. And that's also a challenge to find those people as well.
Okay. And where do you draw on from when you're finding most of your people?
From the industry, we have our employees give us referrals, our clients give us referrals, our name is well known. Usually when people are doing a search, they'll do keywords and that pops our jobs up right away. We always seems like we always have 100 open jobs every day.
Wow. Wow. And so it's constant. It's a very, very interactive business, always finding the right people, matching them up with the right job assignments and things like that?
Correctly.
Are the job assignments and the people you place, are they longer term? Are they short term? What are they?
They tend to be longer term because the projects usually from concept to completion. And if the client is lucky enough to win additional projects, the people may go from our project they're working on to another project. So the length of stay is better in our niche than most staffing firms.
Really? Okay, that's a good thing. I imagine the people that you're placing prefer that. They want the longer term assignments. They want to get more deeper involved and be part of the team for a longer period.
We've been fortunate. Most of our people are there for years. We've had several of our contractors retire after 20 years.
Wow. Okay, and in the meantime, if they're retiring, that means you're paying them pretty well?
We pay them the fair market rate. We know what the market rate is, and we pay them for their talent.
Okay, awesome. And this basically is the same recipe you've had since the beginning, or is it something that has evolved over time?
We've been very transparent to our clients with how we price it, and we basically focus on paying for the talent.
Okay.
If you pay for the talent and give them great benefits, then you're in a good position.
One last question before we take a break here. I want to find out, why does a petroleum company or somebody like this bring somebody like you in? What's the incentive? Isn't this a core function of theirs? Isn't this something they do in-house?
No, the core function of the refineries is to manufacture fuels and chemicals and byproducts. A lot of environmental regulations cause projects to be implemented for them to refine or modify their process, and these are very expensive, challenging projects that require a lot of engineering, a lot of design, a lot of construction, and a lot of materials. But their core function is to continue operating, and we basically do the projects to help them continue their operations.
Okay, and those projects would be repairs, maintenance of special items, but also building new infrastructure, things like that?
That, as well as the turnarounds that they refer to in the industry. A lot of times these units have to be brought down, shut down to do internal maintenance, and that can take like a month, and usually it'll take 1 to 2 years to prepare for the turnaround. So when that unit is down, there'll be thousands of people working for a whole month to pull it off.
And that, from what I understand, watching the news, there's also scheduled maintenance, scheduled operations, but also unscheduled. And that happens fairly often.
Yeah, there's unplanned shutdowns, and that's something you never really get prepared for, but they do happen. And but having the people, it makes it achievable.
Okay, good. You know what? And that will lead us into my next area of discussion. I want to talk about the challenges you have and everything. But why don't we take a quick break with a word from our sponsor, which is Alpha Quantix, my company that specializes in human management issues, people management, behaviorals, cognitives, engagement, culture surveys, things like that. We'll be right back.
Robert J. Curtis is the founder and CEO of Alpha Quantix, a premier provider of employee analytics and metrics that helps CEOs and managers of middle market companies hire the best, manage the best, and be the best. Robert is a keynote speaker, presenter, moderator, and panel member who regularly appears at conferences, business events, and association meetings nationwide. His presentations provide powerful information that gives CEOs and managers of middle market companies valuable insights to improve their hiring and engagement skills. If you'd like Robert to make a personal appearance, he can be contacted by visiting his show's website, bestcompanyshow.com, or by emailing Robert at info@bestcompanyshow.com.
And welcome back again to this episode of the Best Companies radio show and podcast. This is episode number 9, and I'm your host, Robert J. Curtis. And I'm excited to have a special guest here, Ron Stein, with me from PTS Staffing. And we're going to talk a little bit about what PTS Staffing does and how they do it. And we're going to dig in right away as quickly as we can here and start talking about some of the challenges, because I know you're in a very challenging business. Not only the clients and people you deal with that you provide your specialists and your engineers for, but your own company too. So let's dig in. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay, great. Okay, so let's talk about it. PTS Staffing, give me a quick rundown on what you do.
We do staff augmentation in the engineering and construction industries, and with a heavy focus on the energy sector.
Really heavy focus.
Heavy
you got
focus.
that nailed down. Okay,
Yes.
so you got all of the leading refineries in California, some other areas too, and some other kind of manufacturers too, as clients.
Correct.
And you have, from my understanding, say, 300 boots on the ground, that kind of thing?
That's correct.
At a given moment. And these guys are top specialists, top knowledge providers in the petroleum industry, manufacturing process, things like that, right?
Very experienced as well.
Okay. So my experience with dealing with engineers and top highly skilled people is they can be very demanding and very particular. Is that true?
Very true.
Okay, so that probably presents some issues when you're talking about placing those people in various assignments. You've got people on board and on staff who are very highly skilled, and they know their worth. They know what they know how to do what they do. They know how to that they have opportunities out there. How do you attract them? How do you place them? And how do you keep the clients happy?
We're one of the few agencies that really focus on a compensation package. It's not just a wage rate you pay a person, it's the employee benefits that you provide. Because a lot of these people have worked in major corporations and have had a full set of employee benefits. And so we want to basically provide the same. And for our clients, where our contractors are working, they feel comfortable. These people are happy campers. They're getting health insurance, they're getting paid time off, and like I say, we try and make it as complete compensation package as they would get on the outside world.
Okay, but you got, relatively speaking, you're a good-sized organization for what you do. At the same time, you're not, a refinery operation. You're not a major,
That's correct.
multi-billion-dollar or trillion-dollar operation, right?
Right.
So they're offering significant benefits and significant packages probably to their people. Very, very competitive, right? How are you doing it on the same level as they are?
We basically provide very low markups. I mean, the engineering firms provide a lot of deliverables, and they're very expensive in their billing rates to the clients. We tend to have a low profit margin on each person, and so by doing so, we can actually provide more employee benefit cost into our billing rate and make the employee happy, as well as keeping the billing rates low to make the clients happy.
So basically, you just told me it eats into your profit margin.
Deeply.
But it's important, right? Because one of the challenges here is that you have highly demanding, not only highly demanding employees and technical people that you're placing, but you have highly demanding clients, right?
Yes, and by having happy clients with our happy employees on site, the employees on site, they're basically, they're representing us. And if they're unhappy, that could be disastrous to us. So it's beneficial to us to give up some margin to have those happy campers and have them represent us in front of the client.
Okay. And can you give me an idea of what the client expectations are? I mean, there's an ongoing relationship here, right? We just mentioned before, and we talked about earlier, which is the fact that you're placing people for scheduled maintenance, for new operations, unscheduled maintenance, various things that are ongoing. So they have, you have to develop an ongoing relationship with them or something to be there when they need you, right?
That's correct.
And how do you do that? And what do you do for that?
Well, like I say, I had, 2 decades of experience in the industry, and now we do a lot of articles from newspapers or writing about the energy subjects that most of the public is unaware of. And unbeknownst to me, when I started doing this, was the reaction I would get from the clients. They truly, truly appreciate it. And they look forward to reading the articles and sharing it with their employees and friends. Like I say, I write these op-ed articles on the energy industry trying to educate the 38 million people who live in California about the one industry that truly, truly drives this California economy.
Okay, so what you're saying, though, is that you're really writing these op-ed and these articles and your outreaches toward the kind of ultimate consumer, nobody you even deal with on an ordinary basis, right?
That's
on a day-to-day
correct.
basis.
That's correct.
But by doing that, you're actually attracting the attention of your clients and probably people, job seekers too, who are interested in reading about it. They learn about you through that.
When I get these articles published, and I do it about once a month, I have a huge list I send out to employees and clients and contractors. So yeah, we're helping to spread the word besides the published article itself.
Okay, but that can't be the only thing you're doing, right? If you're maintaining relationships on an ongoing basis with major companies, multinationals and all of this, global companies, what else are you doing?
We are growing our internal core staff with some of the best people in the industry. We have not been enthralled with a merger and acquisition concept. Instead, we've identified our top competitors and identified the top talent they have, and we've actually gone after the talent. I'd rather hire an account manager from one of our competitors than buy the company to get the account manager. So that has been exceptional for us, and we tend to work in a virtual office concept. So these people, they're up in Pasadena, they're in San Diego, they don't have to drive into the office. They're connected online with everything. Everything we have is real time and allows them to work from their home office and work their relationships more time than spending time on the freeway.
Okay, so really what it boils down to, it sounds like to me, and I'm going to try to sum it up, is that you have multiple channels, including writing, publishing articles, including outreaches and learning about your potential placements, and also ongoing relationships and contacts with your clients. And all of those channels, it kind of works in a unified manner, and it's helped you grow your company over the years. Is that a good summary?
Exactly, yes.
Okay.
We do it, I think, better than our competitors.
Awesome. Okay, now, one thing I'd really like to dig into, because this is something that's, a topic hot on everybody's mind. I mean, it's something that's gradually happened over time, which is the migration from, let's call it a migration away from benefits packages, away from kind of competitive arrangements. The benefits idea, they're kind of evaporating, or they've been evaporating in the working world over time. And you just mentioned it. You said it's a key component of it. Can you describe for me and tell me specifically kind of what kind of benefits are we talking about? What are people looking for, and what are you able to offer?
We offer health and dental and 401ks, and we basically participate in the cost of that to the employees. We contribute part of our margin to reduce their cost, and we also encourage the clients, if they'll allow us to increase the billing rate like an extra buck. An extra buck sounds nominal, but that's really $2,000 a year that can be passed on to the employee to reduce their cost of insurance. So we're providing, like I say, the health and dental and pay time off.
Okay. Oh, pay time off. Okay.
Oh, yes.
So basically, you're functioning like one of the major refineries or one of those major global institutions, but
Exactly.
But you're doing it on a small scale. Does that present challenges in the sense of pricing and getting those benefits and things like that? It must be a heck of a job trying to search around and get that for your people.
Not really. When we were transparent to the client, we have our wage rate we're paying, and then we just add on, the health insurance to wind up getting to a billing rate.
Okay. And then if you're not at the rate that a client is asking for, or that you maybe bid at or something, and you're finding out that it's going to cost a little bit more, you'll go right back to the client and say, look, to get the people you need, to get you delivery of the results you want, we need an extra buck or two an hour or whatever it might be.
Exactly. We know the market, we know the talent, and like I say, if they want good talent, it costs them money because they're experienced people.
That's a little bit of advocacy on the part of the people you're placing, right?
We're basically representing the contractors and trying to provide the client the best quality they can get at the least cost they can get.
Okay, so I'm going to drill down a little deeper, and I want to ask, what kind of feedback, what kind of results do you get from that? I mean, do you have your clients come back to you and say, okay, we'll give the extra buck or two? Is it hard? Is it like pulling teeth from them?
No, they're very receptive to that. Not only do they contribute to health insurance by throwing in an extra buck or two, a lot of times they'll include more PTO. And like I said, we know what the cost of that PTO is. And so it gets just passed through to add on to the billing rate. But the client definitely wants a happy camper. They
Really?
don't want these people leaving in the middle of a project if they get a different offer somewhere else.
Right. So they know that they got to pay the price, and they got to give them the benefits and all of that.
Right, and the fact that we work on low margins, we can give the best to the client and the best to the contractor.
That's great. Well, it makes for a lot of work for you, but hopefully you're doing okay in the meantime.
We're doing okay. Like I say, we've been approached by numerous international companies to buy, but we're not for sale.
Okay.
But interestingly, one of the big international companies was after us for about 18 months, and we identified one of their senior VPs, and when the discussion ended, we hired their senior VP, who's now coming on board as our CEO starting in August.
So wait a second. So you're the target, and you found a target.
That's right.
That's
right.
That's
And
great.
he has, great ambitions. He wants to, double and triple our size in the next few years, and so we're moving into a new office
Uh-huh.
in July, in preparation of him starting in August, and so.
Okay, so if you're already got a really good handle on one market here that you're in, where are you going to grow? How are you going to grow?
Well, we're intending to take our oil industry experience in California and basically go nationwide with it, and as well as go into health sciences. Health sciences is another untapped field because of the aging population and the demands of the industry. It's going to be a real technical complement to what we're doing now.
Okay, great. Well, I want to come back in a minute here after we take a quick break, and I want to get you on the hot seat here. And I want to ask you a question about current news, things that are happening, and see how well you can handle it. I'm sure
Okay.
you can, Ron. You seem to have a handle over everything else. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Very good.
Robert J. Curtis is the founder and CEO of Alpha Quantix, a premier provider of employee analytics and metrics that helps CEOs and managers of middle market companies hire the best, manage the best, and be the best. Robert is a keynote speaker, presenter, moderator, and panel member who regularly appears at conferences, business events, and association meetings nationwide. His presentations provide powerful information that give CEOs and managers of middle market companies valuable insights to improve their hiring and engagement skills. If you'd like Robert to make a personal appearance, he can be contacted by visiting his show's website, bestcompanyshow.com, or by emailing Robert at info@bestcompanyshow.com.
This is Robert J. Curtis again. Welcome back to the Best Company Show. We're glad to have you listening, and we want to let you know there are ways to reach out, to reach me, and also to reach our guest today, Ronald Stein from PTS Staffing. The way to reach me, the best way to reach me is probably through LinkedIn. Look for Robert J. Curtis, and you'll find me there, and associated with the Best Company Show, of course. You can also go to either the bestcompanyshow.com to see who's coming up, future guests, prior episodes, more information about things and events that are coming up. You can also reach out to us on iTunes and Stitcher, as well as YouTube for our YouTube channel. So if you want to watch the video there, you can watch there. There are a lot of ways to reach me, but let's talk about Ron Stein. First off, Ron Stein, S-T-E-I-N, like you normally spell it, right?
Just like the beer mug. That's right.
There you go. Okay. Then tell me, how would people reach out to you if they want to reach you?
Through our website, or you can call me direct. Our website is www.ptsstaffing.com. And my direct number is 949-268-4023.
Awesome. Great. Great to have you here. Okay, we're going to wrap up this show with what we call, or what I like to call, the hot seat question. Now, hopefully it's not too much of a challenge, and I don't think it's going to be for you, Ron. But here's the thing. One thing, I've been reading articles lately, and one of the articles that's come to mind, and comes, especially when it comes to you, is, I mean, we're talking about the energy sector here, right? And energy sector is obviously very important to our economy, as you mentioned earlier. It's a job driver. It creates a lot of business, a lot of opportunity for people. But what's interesting is that the most jobs that I'm reading about are not new refineries. They're not new operations. There's not a lot of that going on. But the jobs that are being created in this business have to do with what they call energy efficiency and energy, other ways of managing energy, changing energy, all that kind of stuff. That presents challenges for you, right? Because what's happening is people are now, the whole business model is changing, the whole focus is changing, and it sounds like it's changing away from what you're doing. You got to be on the hot seat here. You got to tell me, is this a challenge? Is this putting you through the ringer?
It's a challenge, but it's actually opportunities for us because, when oil was discovered in 1900, it just made kerosene and gasoline. But, through creative people, we now take advantage of all the chemicals and byproducts that come out of crude oil. And now we got 17 infrastructures that cannot survive without that stuff. Medicines, pharmaceuticals, cosmetics, plastics, iPhones, computers, every industry out there, which there's, I think, 17 infrastructures today that did not exist before 1900, they're all supported by the other stuff that gets manufactured out of crude oil. So there's opportunities in every industry just from the oil sector.
Wow. Okay, so basically what you're saying is you're turning it on heads on tails or whatever you want to call it, and going from what could be a real downside or problem, and you're saying there's opportunity within those problems.
Unlimited opportunities.
Okay.
All the inventions today are based on the chemicals and byproducts that are coming out of crude oil. For hospitals couldn't exist without the oil industry.
Yeah. So basically what you're saying is you're a survivor?
We're a survivor and an innovator too.
Oh, there you go. That's a better way to phrase it. Awesome. So thank you so much for being here for this episode of the Best Company Show. Again, thank you everybody for watching. I want to thank my engineer Paul Roberts for his contributions here. My producer Roland Canamar of Silver Dream Factory, who's been very helpful to put this show together. Without him and without Paul, it would be a challenge to do any of this. I want special thanks to Ron Stein, here, my guest from PTS Staffing. He's been a wonderful guest, very informative and very thoughtful in his approach to everything. And I want to thank all of you for listening and watching. And I want to wish everybody that you and your companies will be the best that you can be. Thank you for watching.
You've been listening to The Best Company Show, Southern California's business podcast, focusing on topics of interest to CEOs and managers of middle market companies, with your host, Robert J. Curtis.
When you use the Premier Rewards Gold Card from America,